Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Madam Secretary. Thank you for being here. I want to discuss in greater detail the expansion of advertising in your department under your tenure, and I believe you testified regarding some of these matters yesterday in front of the United States Senate. In particular, I want to discuss the department's $220 million ad campaign.
All right, folks, buckle up. We're diving into a clip that's got more twists and turns than a California highway. We've got Congressman Joe Neguse absolutely dissecting a massive $220 million ad campaign. And let's just say, the answers he's getting from Secretary Kristi Noem are, well, they're something all right. Prepare for some serious head-scratching.
This is the ad campaign that featured you at Mount Rushmore. You're familiar with this ad campaign, correct?
I am familiar with it. It was an ad
So
campaign that was
I'm going to ask you some questions about it,
to-
Madam Secretary. So,
Okay.
as I understand it, this is a $220 million ad campaign. It's split between two contractors. One of those contractors got $143 million. That contractor is called Safe America Media, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That company is affiliated with a former political director of the National Republican Congressional Committee. Now, yesterday you testified, I think I'm quoting you right, you said, quote, or in reference to this contract, that, quote, it went out to a competitive bid. Do you stand by that statement?
It was a no-bid contract where two vendors were
It was a no-bid
chosen.
contract.
If it would have been a,
Wait, hold on. Did she just say it was a no-bid contract after being asked if it went to a competitive bid? That's like saying, yes, I ran the marathon, but I actually drove the car. Those two things aren't just different. They're fundamentally opposite. It's a classic case of trying to redefine terms on the fly when you're caught red-handed.
no-bid contract, if I'm using that correctly, it goes out to two different vendors.
Correct. So it was
There
not a
many
competitive.
media-
Let me try to explain
agency.
what the discrepancy, because a competitive bid is very different than a no competitive bid, and I'll just explain why. We know that your testimony yesterday, when you said, again, I'll quote, it went out to a competitive bid, is untrue. The reason we know it's untrue is because under federal law, your agency is required, whenever the agency decides to skip competitive bidding, to file a notice with the public explaining why. And in this case,
Right.
your agency filed a notice.
Right.
You're aware of that,
Right.
right? Justification and approval for other than full and open competition. Your agency made a decision not to proceed with competitive bidding, and one of the contractors that got the award was this Safe America Media Company that received $143 million.
See, this is where the transparency rubber meets the road. The agency itself had to file a notice explaining why they skipped competitive bidding. So when she says many vendors got a chance, she's directly contradicting her own department's official paperwork. It's not just a discrepancy, it's a direct, documented falsehood. Someone needs to check their facts or their memory.
Many
Right.
vendors got the chance to look at that contract and to participate in it.
Well,
So that is why the two of them were
that's
chosen.
inaccurate, Madam Secretary. I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States. You identified 4. One of those is this Safe America Media Company. Where is Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company. Do you know where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
A company with no known headquarters, no website, and registered to a political operative? Folks, that's not a business. That's a shell game. When public money disappears into an entity that's basically a P.O. box and a prayer, alarms should be blaring. It sounds less like a legitimate contractor and more like a convenient funnel for taxpayer dollars.
Because
I'll tell
it
you
was
about
done
it.
according to
Madam
law.
Secretary,
It
the
was done by career
address is
officials.
registered to a political
was
operative.
dollars that were spent
Madam Secretary, the
to
company,
inform
and then
people
I'll give you an
that the
opportunity to
laws-
respond.
Oh,
The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before?
Okay, so let's recap. You $143 million, a company incorporated 8 days before the contract, no history, no website, registered to a political operative, and tied to the secretary herself. If this isn't a giant red flag, what is? This isn't just above board. This is above the law territory. It's a textbook example of cronyism, plain and simple.
I don't know, I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board?
Yes,
that
I-
$143 million of taxpayer money just happened to go to this one company that doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a website, has never done work for the federal government before, and is registered, apparently, or attached to a residence from a political operative. And of course, one of the subcontractors of that contract, as you know, is a political firm that's tied to you back when you were governor of South Dakota. The reason why I ask these questions is that this is taxpayer money. And I presume, I don't know this for a fact, but Senator Tillis noted yesterday the way in which your agency is blocking the Inspector General from 11 different investigations that it is trying to conduct. I don't know if this happens to be one of them. I certainly hope it is, because eventually the facts will become public in this regard. And there are serious laws implicated, conflict of interest laws, federal procurement laws, that I believe
All
merit.
followed, all done correctly,
Was
all
it-
done
all done
legally.
correctly?
14 billion impressions from that
the-
marketing campaign.
sure.
It was money spent in this country and in 8 different countries that illegal migration was coming from.
Madam Secretary,
Overwhelmingly
yeah,
effective.
we all
$49
understand the
billion.
argument that you've made, that somehow this ad campaign on Fox News of you at Mount Rushmore has led to millions of people self-deporting.
Oh, overwhelmingly effective. And it led to millions of people self-deporting? Are we living in the same reality? An ad campaign, especially one featuring politicians on Fox News, is not some magical self-deportation spell. That's not just a reach, it's a full-on fantasy. It's an insult to our intelligence to suggest such a flimsy justification for blatant misuse of funds.
You're
Why do you-
using
why do you think
millions
that
of
they did
dollars of
self-deport?
taxpayer
Had they not
money
known?
in this way. It is fraud, and ultimately, I think there's going to be accountability. And I yield back, Madam.
Can I speak to the IG?
Yes, you can. Quick.
The IG has been told repeatedly, in writing, verbally, on the phone, that he can have access to anything at the Department of Homeland Security. He can. He doesn't need my permission to come and brief members of Congress on the Hill. He just needs to provide a scoping memo, which is what every single IG gets from every single department and agency. All intelligence agencies require a scoping memo. He just hasn't done that. He wants unfettered access.
And there you have it. What a masterclass in obfuscation and deflection. It's infuriating to see taxpayer money potentially wasted on contracts that reek of impropriety. This isn't just about partisan politics. It's about accountability and ensuring our money isn't funneled into questionable deals. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into California and national politics. See you next time.
To every single thing in the department, and that's not the process, and that's not any other IG has demanded that.